Howdy, hey, it's Ron. Welcome to another deck profile. This time we are going to be doing a deck profile of the Faded One of Time, Liael Amorta. I know a lot of people pronounce it Liel or Liel or Lao, but I have always looked at it and just been like, yeah, Liael, because I feel like it's an angel. Zafkiel, you pronounce a lot of the EIL kind of words. So yeah, welcome. This is Deck Profileville. Yeah, not much to say other than this gorgeous playmat before we get into the deck profile was made by Orchid Ice Dragon. It is of Lascaria, my for the foreseeable future forever main. So if you want to get one of your own, make sure you go check them out on Twitter. If you want a Lascaria, absolutely, I'm sure that's possible. If you want to commission your own playmat, that's definitely also possible. So make sure you go check them out. That being said, let's get right into it. Firstly, you need an energy generator, and instead of having energy cards, I like having the energy counter. It's just a lot smoother, less cards to fiddle around with, especially if I've also got like plant tokens or a dragon tree marker. So, you know, that's pretty important. Then getting into the ride line, I'm running the best starter that you can for this deck, Soel. I know it's the Liael starter, but her starter's ugly. He's like so stupid and dorky looking, and I hate him. And he doesn't even really fit the aesthetic, because if I slide this into view for you, you look at these three cards and you're like, yeah, that fits aesthetically. So, that being said, grade 0, when wrote upon, if you went second, draw a card. Who would have thunk? Then we're gonna go. We're gonna run Player of the Lovely Harp, Adorphus, as your grade 1. When wrote upon by the grade 2, you Soul Blast 1, draw 2 cards. Choose up to 1 normal unit from your hand, discard it. If you did not discard a normal unit, choose 2 cards from your hand and discard them. That ability sometimes gets used. I'll be honest, I don't always use it, but some games, my hand not looking amazing, looking pretty rotten. Especially if I'm going second, I like to just have the additional filtering. So it's a good ability. You don't always have to do it. Just flat out. So for our grade 2, Player of the Beautiful Chord, Elegina. I've been pronouncing that wrong. When wrote upon by a grade 3 Liael, choose any number of normal units from your drop zone, put them on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you chose 3 or more, draw a card. Insane. This is what we run this card for. Although if there was like a better grade 1 that's like generically good, I would consider running that over her, because using Soul can be an issue in this deck. So we'll get to that and how I addressed it. So then we're running in our ride line 1 FFR Liael Amorta. Faded One of Time Liael Amorta. Let's go over her abilities. She's got multiple of them. First one, when it attacks, counterblast 1. Choose one of your rear guards, bind it, search your deck for up to 1. Yes, hi cat, I love you. Sorry, I don't know if y'all could hear that. Choose one of your rear guards, bind it, search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name as that card, call it to rear guard circle, shuffle your deck. Then, when this unit is put on Guardian Circle, get down babies, she's scratching my walls. When put on Guardian Circle, discard a card from your hand and put 2 cards from your bind zone on the bottom of your deck in any order. Yes, that is the cost, so you can't just not bot deck cards. So it's pretty important that you do actually have 2 cards up there to bot deck. So I'm hoping that with this coming set, she'll get like a card that binds itself instead of retiring itself, or binds cards from your drop zone for you. I don't know. Either way, the Festival Collection has an order that I feel like was made with this deck in mind, but yeah, hostage build. Anyways, it works as a perfect guard, but it counts as only for a faded one, and it's not a perfect guard, so it's like the one thing that gets around Blang Meyer's guard restrict. Then, Divine Skill. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, choose a card with the same card name as this unit for your drop zone, write it as stand. If you rode, that unit gets drive -1 until end of turn. So, all in all, she's got multi-attack, she's got defensive capabilities, as well as for her Divine Skill, she's got another Vanguard attack, so she's pretty damn strong. Let's just go ahead and be honest. That's a packed unit full of good sauce. Continuing on, we're going to get into the grade 3s. We're running 3 Persona Rides. I lied. We're running 4 Persona Rides. So something that you'll notice with this deck is I feel like Liael has, 1, some soul issues, 2, just some general power issues. And so that's something that I'm going to be getting into. But there's not a lot of ways to really address it. So I feel like with more support, this deck could be ridiculously strong. So yeah, we've got 3 Persona Rides and a 4th with the Gratias Graudale. Of course, you know, you want to be able to Persona Ride. That's going to help you make all of your power. You can run, like, almost any other Regalis piece, but if you're going to run anyone that isn't Gratias Graudale, I would recommend Bracing Angel Ladder. Wow! What do you mean you don't want to run this, like, $10 card? Run the $70 card instead. Yeah, pretty much. That's because this gives you power, but Angel Ladder at least gives you resist and soul and power to your Vanguard, so that's something. Then I am running 1 copy of Soar Swiftly to Save Precious Lives. You probably just glazed over looking at this card. It came out in this set. I promise it is a real card. No cost. Choose up to a total of 3 normal units with the same card name as any of your units from your drop zone. Put them on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you chose 3 or more cards, draw a card. It's just cycling material. Sometimes I'll get cards into damage zone and I heal them out and I'm like, well, I would like that back in my deck so I can use Liael's ability. Or alternatively, I'll Persona Ride, I'll guard, and then I'll be like, there's 3 copies in my drop zone. Recycled. So that's the idea behind these. Honestly, this card, there's like a million other things that it could be, but I wanted it to be a no-cost order. Put very simply, I think it's funnier. I don't think it is like actually the best way to play this deck. And you'll note with the way I'm playing it, it's far from the best way to play this deck, but it's funny. And so I hope you'll enjoy it. Getting into the grade 2s, we are running 3 copies of Sword Saint of Itinerant Idiras. He is so pretty. I love his art. Him and Liael combined caused me to like have a strong desire to play this deck. During your turn, if your bind zone has a card with the same card name as this unit gets power plus 10k. And then when this unit is bound from a rearguard circle during your turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater Liael, Soul Blast 1, draw a card, choose one of your Vanguards, power plus 5k. So you can Counterblast 1, bind it, resolve Liael's skill, call a new one, Soul Blast 1, draw a card, your Vanguard gains 5k. And because there's one now in your bind zone, he has an additional 10k. So that's pretty strong, right? Getting into what I like to call the Teeth Fault replacement, we've got Sacrosanct Dragon. Well, it's not a Teeth Fault replacement. Let's be completely honest, okay? So this unit says, when this unit is placed on rearguard circle by your card's ability, this unit gets power plus 5k until end of turn. If it was placed from deck, Soul Blast 1, draw a card, and it gains boost as well. So it's a 15k booster. If you don't see Idiras, you can bind, call, Soul Blast 1, draw a card, and then it's almost as big as Idiras, so yeah. Why is it my Teeth Fault replacement? Because 1, I'm not paying $60 per copy for Teeth Faults. Yikes. No thank you. And 2, it uses Soul and gains power, and that's a Teeth Fault replacement in my eyes. Then getting into Mr. struggling to get out of any ever Keter Sanctuary deck until they are free from the I struggle with Soul clause, Drilling Angel. When placed on rearguard circle, put a unit card from your drop zone into your soul. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 card with the same card name as the card put to your soul for the cost, and call it. Shuffle your deck. You can sometimes manipulate your deck. Say you've got a ton of your grade 1 in your drop zone, and or in your deck, and there's 1 copy of the said grade 1 in your drop zone, and you put that to soul. There's a higher chance of seeing that. it's not the most insane card. It's mostly there for soul charging. And so then, lastly, for the grade 2s, we've got Wisdom of Beginning that cleared the world. Yeah, you all know it. Counterblast 1. Draw 2 cards, choose 2 cards from your hand, call them to Vanguard Circle if the grade of each of them is less than or equal to your Vanguard. Discard them if not. So basically the way this works is Counterblast 1, draw 2 cards, choose 2 cards from your hand. And so you can choose like 2 grade 3s, call a grade 3, and then because you've got too much grade, you discard the other grade 3. I think that's how that works, but basically like you choose 2 cards and then you call as many as fit into the clause as possible. So, yeah. Getting into our grade 1s, we are running 1 Aegis Mire Dragon, 1 Bringer of Protection, Sethian? Keithian? I don't know. And 1 Palladium Zeal Dragon, as well as 1 Elementaria Sanctitude. Oh, it's Highlander! Yeah, I just thought it was funny to run 4 different PGs. I like the idea. You run 4 PGs, Elementaria is still amazing. Then we're running 4 copies of Gragaon. It's your resident countercharger and 13k booster if your unit was placed by your Divine Skill, or by your Vanguard with Divine Skill's ability this turn. It gains the power. So it's also going to be potentially good for Alden. So that's something. Continuing on, we've got 3 Sergeon. Of course, we all knew this was coming, and you might be thinking, 3? Why 3? Why not 4? You should max out on this card. I should. I didn't spend the I didn't spend the money to max out on this card. Of course, my main deck is Lascaria. She's the one that I got 2 commissions for. I got a playmat and sleeves. She's the one that I max rarity'd. I don't need to try and explain this more. I just don't have all the money in the world, and 3 copies is what I have. So, continuing on, we've got a light egret. It's cat time. Hello. Hi. Hi. Yes. All right. 13k booster if you have a Liael Vanguard. 10k guard if you have a Liael Vanguard. 1 copy of Frame Rare Magic of Stimulants, Euphiria, or Euphir? Wow, I've never tried to read her name. She's useless. 13k booster, 20k booster if you bought deck a card with her ability. That's it. It costs a soul. I didn't want to run more than 1, and pulling a Frame Rare from a box made me want to run 1. And then 1 copy of Knight of Reticence Maga. Drop zone when your Vanguard is placed during your battle phase. Energy Blast 3, call this card to a back row Vanguard circle. Obviously that works well with our Divine Skill, so would you look at that? Simple enough, right? So then getting to the triggers, you may be seeing the idea here. We've got 4 heal triggers. Of course, this is the one that I find prettiest, so I mean, it also fits the theme. It is an angel. Pretty. 12 out of 10. 4 copies of Perobi, where we need to draw cards. 4 copies of Blade Feather Dragon. 3 copies of White Fang Witch Disma. And then 1 Amorta, because it's really cheap, and my blue OT is in Mega Colony, my premium deck. Well, you could have just switched it over for this video. Yeah, but I'm lazy, so I didn't. That being said, what are the things that you could have run that you didn't? We're gonna go over these couple cards, and I'm just gonna flip them over. Let's shuffle them a little, and then I'll flip them over one by one, and then give my exact reasoning for why I chose not to run this card, or why I chose to run a different card over them. Cost too much counterblast and too much soul. The high end of this card is like really high highs, so you've got this. And Idiros on your Divine Skill turn, you swing 1, swing 2, Vanguard ability, call a new one, you hopefully get something good. Divine Skill, new Vanguard, swing 1, swing 2, Vanguard swing, call a new one, and then hope you get another good thing. So you could always whiff it too. There's always the chance of that, which sucks. But your prayers will not always be answered with Kybre. So his Counterblast and Soul Blast is like a lot. Oops, I was doing it. I was doing a cool reveal, Mom. Number 2, Enuculate Angel. Too much soul. And we have a free counter charger. They both retire themselves, so it's not like, oh, but this one uses soul, but it retains you board. It uses soul and gives your Vanguard 5k power. The 5k power is still there on Gragaon, and it doesn't use soul, so what's the point? Uses soul. It's a solid order. Top 2 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 or less from among them, call it to a guard circle, put the rest on the top of your deck in any order. Unless you do not plan on using your Vanguard's ability to search your deck, this card is dog water. If you're searching your deck, you're shuffling, so whatever you leave on top is gone. Diana. I think she's great. I think she is the best replacement for Sacrosanct Dragon that you could potentially go for. However, I like Sacrosanct Dragon because more draw power if I don't see Idiros. If you don't see Idiros and you see her, no draw power, but you do have attack power. A Warrior's Rest. This card was one that I was really considering for a while. Energy Blast 2, choose 2 of your units, continuous Vanguard, Rearguard during the battle. Goodbye, cat. During the battle, this unit is boosted. This unit gets power plus 10k, and then if you have 5 or more units, draw a card. So basically it means, like, if you have full board, plus 10k, but you have to boost, meaning if you're like this, with Liael's skill, you're going to just, let's say you're not divine skilling. You're going to give the power to this guy and this guy. Swing here, boosted. That's a pretty big number. Swing Liael, call a new one. He no longer has a booster, so he's a small number. Swing here. This one's massive, but this one's now a tiny number. So, like, let's say it's Idiros and you didn't Persona Ride, but you already had one in your bind zone. And so you swing boosted. It's huge because you're going to replace him. You have to swing boosted to gain the extra 10k anyways. So it was just kind of like, it felt like it was going to waste. And then lastly, Salvar Dragon. Again, Salvar Dragon kind of fits into the same slot as Diana, where they could be perfect replacements for Sacrosanct, but I like being able to draw cards. That being said, let's get into a test hand. All right, getting back to it, got our stuff set up, and I just want to say thank you, Bishop. Bishop Slayer art. He is amazing. He made some really pretty dice in coordination with, I don't remember, with a website, as well as some sleeves for now. So yeah, let's get into it. We're going to start by drawing our first 5. Sacrosanct is a normal unit. We want to keep it late game. Triggers, we all put those back. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Cool. So we have a Persona Ride secured. And we've got normal units in our hand secured. So for this specific test, I'm going to be pretending I go first. Just because that's the easiest way to do it, to math things out. And obviously, as this deck, I want to show off the best case scenario, which the best case scenario is going first. So we're going to stand and draw. So for turn, we draw. There we go. Cool. We've got some solid discard fodder. Actually, no, I want to keep my Idiros for my first turn. So we're going to discard All Light, Egret, Ride, pass turn. Let's say they swing, we take a damage. We're going to gain turn back again, draw a card, energy charge 3. Of course, energy is not like super important in this deck, so you don't have to worry too super much. So with this type of a hand, this is where I would maybe consider not using the grade 1's ability. We've got a Persona Ride secured, we've got guard material, got a lot of guard material, and we've got some grade 2s. So let's ditch one right here. If we discard, who are we discarding? It would probably be Sacrosanct, right? So then, let's see what happens if we do that. So we're going to Soul Blast 1, draw 2, And then it's going to force us to discard one. Let's discard Sacrosanct. And then we're looking like, oh, I don't know what to do with my early game. Let's just call a light egret behind Vanguard and swing 18. Then drive check. Ooh, Drilling Angel, amazing. Nothing crazy. We're going to take a damage. We're going to pretend they're swinging multiple times this turn. So we take a damage. It's another PG that we didn't want to lose. We're going to guard 1. Guard 2. So then coming back to our turn, stand and draw. We could have taken another damage. It would have been fine. Energy charge 3. And then we're looking over here. So we've got 1, 2 normal units in our drop zone, which means we want to discard a normal unit so we can fully get the effect of the grade 2. We're going to choose these 3 normal dorks, put them to the bottom of the deck, draw a card. Sacrosanct, nice. And so then with this turn, we don't particularly want to go way too hard, right? We want to be pressuring our opponent, but like not we don't have the ability to pressure too super much. So we're gonna just try and build a little bit of hand before going in. We're gonna call Idiros. Let me think. Do we? Yeah, we should call Idiros. We're gonna call Idiros and swing with him 10k. Swing with the Vanguard. Use her ability to counterblast 1, bind Idiros. I know he'll be he should be technically off screen, but I'm putting him up there. And then, oops, we're not just drawing 1. We're going to check our entire deck for another copy. Call him. And so then his 10k power isn't grade restricted, which means since we're going first, this is a 26k swing because his power isn't restricted either. 26k swing for now. And then this is a 20k rearguard. So then with our with his ability, we're going to Soul Blast 1 because we did that. Power 5k to Vanguard and draw another card. And then we're going to do, this is 26 plus 5 makes 31. Twin drive. Check 1. Crit. Crit 10. Second check. Egret. Nice. So then this is 30k. We probably did like 2-ish damage that turn maybe. Take 1. We're going to pretend it wasn't the over trigger because that's bull. Take 1. Ooh, draw power to Vanguard. Drawing 1. Take a second. And then we're going to guard the rest. So we're going to guard. PG like this. So wow, look, it's our turn again. Stand and draw. So now we've come across the issue, one of the main issues of the deck, right? So obviously we have Persona Ride. It's not a huge like power issue. What we have is we have an issue of I don't have a ride, which means I can't get to the baseball game. I don't have a ride, which means I don't have another copy of Liael in my drop zone to use. So we want to get a Liael off of this. Perfect. Would you look at that? So we're going to call Liael and then call over with Sacrosanct. Wasn't placed by an ability, so it doesn't gain anything. And let's see. With this, we're just going to look to swing a lot because as you can see, this deck doesn't have a ton that it can really do. So we're going to swing 10, 20, 30 because of Persona. Swing unboosted. Counterblast 1, bind 1, search deck, and call another copy. Right. And then shuffle. Amazing. Look at us go. Ooh. I accidentally hit my tower of awkwardness. So yeah, then we get our twin drive. Drive 1, heal trigger. Let's pretend we don't heal. Put power over here because he's not going to be swinging until the last attack. And drive 2, Idiros. So now we've come into an actual issue, right? We just drive checked our other Idiros. So we're going to still Divine Skill. Oh, actually, I was supposed to draw this, and then this was supposed to be my second check because I was supposed to, well, I guess let's just pretend that I forgot completely and it didn't happen because now I'm looking for my sacrosanct. We're going to swing 20, 30k, swing, this time boosted, and we're going to bind and call a sacrosanct, which obviously we know is on the top of our deck, and soul blast out a copy of her. Draw, power plus 5k, you know, normal stuff. Singular drive. And so as you can see, this deck struggles to keep a ton of hand. And you might be thinking, oh, if you had more soul, you would have more hand. But, like, it's just not true. You saw that I got to use most of the soul. And my hand just didn't really keep around. Oh, also, technically, I should have energy charged another 3 and drawn another card. But, that being said, I do think that this deck is extremely fun. I think that the version that I play is really, really, like, watered-down version of it. So, it's the version of it that you play if you don't have money for Teeth Vault, which, of course, a realistic replacement for Teeth Vault would be Kybre, but I don't know. I like the way that I play it. It's fun. I probably will go back to running Kybre eventually, though. Everything goes back to him, right? That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's deck profile, and I hope you guys like Liael as well as Lascaria, because if I do more content, you'll probably see more of them, especially with the Dark States Liael eventually coming around. I've been starting to learn more about Dark States, so we'll see what goes on in life. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.